Hey everyone, thanks for learning to play games. My name is Lance, and in today's video I'm going to be taking a look at the miniatures that are included in a brand new game that's currently on Kickstarter called The Thinning Veil. This is a new one from Triskelion Games, and is a 1 to 4 player game that takes roughly 1 to 2 hours to play, and it has a number of different modes in it, including solo and cooperative modes you can play, and a number of other ones that are included as well. So with this video, I'm going to take a look at the miniatures that are included in this game. And these were 3D printed by myself, so there are a few mistakes with these. For example, with the Berserker, one of his axes didn't come out completely perfectly, and with the priest model here, his staff doesn't go all the way down. So there was some imperfections from my printing, but these are not going to be represented in the models. But these are absolutely beautiful models with tons of detail, as you can already see on the Kickstarter page. These are really cool. So I want to take a closer look at each one of these, and also take a look at the artwork, which I fell in love with. That's how I noticed this game months and months ago. I saw some of the artwork for this one, which was very haunting and dark and gritty, and I love it. So I reached out to the designer, and I started talking with him about this game, and I really wanted to know more about it. So with this first video, I want to take a closer look at each one of the miniatures that are going to be included in the game, starting with this selection here, and I might do another video a little bit later covering some of the other enemies and some of the other heroes that have been added throughout the campaign. But I'd love to hear from you as well. Let me know in the comments down below if you're excited about this one, what you're interested in, and what your favorite model is. And as always, if you find my videos helpful, if you like what I do, please consider hitting that like button and subscribe to my channel. It's one of the easiest ways you can support channels like mine so we can continue to grow, be able to produce this content. As always, if you also want to hit that notification bell, that'll let you know whenever I drop new videos. And with these, I also want to point out that I'm going to be reading some narrative along with these to kind of set the mood and give you a little bit of a backstory on each one of these models. And I do also want to point out that the one model here, the Thief of Eyes, is a stretch goal model. So unless the campaign gets to 200,000 in funding, then this one is not going to necessarily make it into this campaign. But I did have a chance to check it out, and it's a absolutely beautiful, terrifying model. So I want to show you ahead of time just so that you have an idea of some of the cool stuff that's coming your way, depending upon how this campaign does as well. So let's go ahead and head to the table, and we'll take a closer look at these minis. The Berserker has seen some real carnage, and been responsible for much of it. Sure, he cannot remember what happened during the battles, but it usually looks like the right people got killed. So what does it matter? Whatever doesn't kill you, doesn't kill you. His hard life is etched into his skin. He carries himself with fierce pride and steely determination, and he possesses a predatory instinct, a hunter's guile. He may not be book smart, but words cannot be trusted. It's deeds that speak of the character of a man, not what some stargazer scratched into pigskin, telling you what to think. Make yourself a name. Carve out the world a legend where you are the hero, or die trying. If the gods are with you, then your blade will sing as loud as the voices of those who make you more myth than man. The Berserker is characterized by his ability, the Red Mist. This seeing red can lead to some formidable acts of ferocity and strength in combat, and make the Berserker downright scary and blood-curdling at times. You will be glad he is on your side in a fight, but you might not want to stand too close when the Red Mist descends. The Fane Priest is an agent of the Druids, single-minded in purpose and pursuit of that end. There is a great darkness in the world, and there are those who must combat it, and carry forth the light. The goal is to bring order to chaos, always seeking to restore the delicate balance to nature and indeed the cosmos. Without those devoted to this cause, life as we know it would end, and an already uncertain future would become fraught with peril. A peril that would constantly push the boundaries of reality until the day of unmaking. The Fane Priest is not a young man, and he has had to study for 20 years to memorize all of the stories and lessons, carrying in his mind the records of thousands of years. It is not a path of the light of heart, and it requires great personal sacrifice and dedication. Perhaps one day this torchbearer will settle down to become a temple priest, or even ascend to a seat within the conclave. For now, the Fane Priest hears both the terrible howls of the hungry creatures of darkness and cries for help from those who might fall victim, heeding the call and rushing to aid the needy. The Fane Priest is characterized by his ability, Holy Smite. This Purifying strike is often lethal to those following a path of evil and wickedness, making the Fane Priest a powerful crusader against the sinful and the villainous. The Fane Priest can also be a great healer, as well as having the potential to lie to rest the walking dead and the tortured souls. Their righteousness can sometimes be their weakness, but their faith can also bring belief to even the most beleaguered of souls. The Ember Thief has lived a hard life and honed his skills over long years in the guilds. The Ember Guild sends thieves into the Inferno, along the cinder paths to steal from the magma vaults themselves. Behind the glowing golden eyes of the Ember Thief resides a keen mind that is quick of wit. The Ember Thief is resourceful and used to having to think on his feet. Often while dealing with hazards and dangers others would quell at should such confront them. Nothing phases the Ember Thief for long, because if it did, he would have been dead long ago and joined some of the misbegotten souls he steals from. A slow-witted thief is a corpse in the making. They say you make your own luck, and the Ember Thief believes that. You don't steal from the dissonance of hell without some thought to training and the potential consequences. His body is a tough machine, every muscle taut, every sinus ready to spring into action. Vicious when cornered, the Ember Thief is an opportunist, always looking for a weakness to exploit, be it in the design of a trap, the tumblers of a lock, or the defenses of an opponent. The Ember Thief is characterized by both his ember golden gaze and by his ability to backstab. This epitomizes the sly nature of the opportunist of the thief, and striking enemies while they are preoccupied with more obvious threats in battle. Some say the latter ability characteristics of the Ember Thief for a different reason, but an Ember Thief doesn't remain long with those who impugn his honor, and it will betide anybody who crosses a person who steals from demons. Some warn of sinkholes of evil, or places where the veil is always thin or has been worn away. These are named the Dread Fiends by most, as there are often bizarre and macabre shrines in these locations, or standing stones predating the rise of druidity, and are steeped in mystery. The Veil Warden knows some of the secrets of these stones and recognizes the Dread Fiends or sinkholes for what they are. Ancient wards in the place to hold back demons or to maintain the veil so there is not a deep rent in the fabric of reality. Such a terror would permit the lost souls in the lands of the dead to haunt and manifest among the living. And many such restless spirits are malevolent in nature. The Veil Warden drifts between the mortal plane and the spirit world, walking the boundary and patrolling inside the veil itself. They have learned many eldritch signs and wards, some of which grant them powers which seem magical, demonic or divine to others. The Veil Warden perceives himself as the last guardian between the innocent unknowing and the creatures which might prey upon them should they breach the veil or cross over. The Veil Warden is characterized by his ability, the Sign of Nagata. The signs can be carved in the air with the hands and project concentrated pockets of air into enemies, often shattering bone and causing hemorrhaging. A powerful Veil Warden can cause significant damage to those who oppose him. He can even strike into incorporeal spirits. The Veil Warden masters many other wards and can be a healer, a protector, and a seeker of truth. While enigmatic and a keeper of secrets, the Veil Warden is always questing to further his knowledge and can be a valuable companion. The Ashen Lady is a being of the other world, an Azai from the other side of midnight. When she lowers her veil, she is seen as a tall, statuesque, and imposing. Her limbs are willowy and shrouded in a gown of gossamer thin sheen, and the skin of this woman seems to glisten despite an ashen gray attire. The veil over the face of this captivating figure hides her features, yet she possesses an aura as disturbing as it is transfixing. It is said by some she is a beauty unrivaled, and all who see her are doomed to heartbreak and love lusts, falling into a sickness of unrequested longing should they ever behold her countenance. Others say that her features are of the grave and her teeth rotten and set in bleeding gums. They say she spews whispered malice into the very soul that cruelly scars the psyche with the darkest and ugliest aspects of itself. Secrets we bury so deep that victims fall prone to the floor begging for her mercy, lest they begin to accept the truth in her words. Naming that which they hide even from themselves. The Caller in Darkness is a demon from the primordial darkness, a timeless void that was there at the beginning and surrounds all that is and will ever be. In that darkness, a sentience is not as we perceive it on the mortal plane, but then nothing is. The physicality of the Caller of Darkness on the mortal plane is simply a form, by terror and spine-chilling that our minds can comprehend. Its sightless face and piercer teeth is flowing in hooded robes of tortured faces depict either the chaotic emotions of all the selves of the Caller has ever been, or the myriad of fears and horrors of victims across space-time, wherever the Caller has made a haunting ground. All but impossible to destroy, difficult to banish, and with mysterious motivations beyond mortal understanding, the Caller of the Darkness is an agent of chaos, which is very hard to defeat. Weapons of non-magical nature cannot harm it. Nothing of their essence exists within this being, and even holy water cannot scold its demonic flesh, as it simply refuses to now acknowledge an entity we deem as God as an authority over it. When a Caller is present, beware of the supernatural, and the primordial are difficult adversaries to contend with, before you consider the malevolent designs of this awe-inspiring evil. The Veil Gaunt exists inside the Veil, said to be the tormented lost who perished in the mists unable to find their way to salvation. They leech the life energy from living beings to invigorate themselves, in a sorrowful and tormented state of vampiric desperation, drawn to the living for their warmth and vitality, with their malignant eyes baleful and hungrily. The outer boundaries of the land of the dead are unfortunately filled with such creatures, starved of positive energy, needing it to sustain themselves before they wither away to a husk or become a wraith themselves. If that happens, they will forever be condemned to walk the misty and shadowed vistas of their pain-filled purgatory. The Bargist is known by a few names on the mortal plane: the Black Dog, or the Devil Dog, the Harns of Aran, the Beasts of Belanus, or the long-forgotten Seekers of Karnos. Whatever they are called, and wherever they are called it, the story behind them is similar. The sinister canines are 3 to 4 feet in height at the shoulder, and their rotten jaws burn with the cold fire of death, and their eyes radiate evil into the night. They emerge through the mists of the veil to stalk their prey, gathering the lost souls, or guiding them into the land of the dead, often against the will of those they take. Other tales paint them as predators, ravaging their victims on lonely trails, or shadowing them long leagues, hounding their prey through the night until they collapse with exhaustion or surrender to the relentless pursuers. All agree once these beasts have the scent of you, there is nothing you can do but give in. It is inevitable that they will claim you. The Thief of Eyes is an inhabitant of the other side of midnight, a form of shadow fae, a wicked said he. The Thief of Eyes is a quick and deadly-looking creature with elongated limbs and misshapen body which leaps about with dexterous trickery. It has a stretched octagonal face that is somewhat flat, with a diamond depression in the center that sometimes glows with an eerie bluish-green light. Around the outside of this central depression are many eye-shaped holes, some filled with cataract-covered blank eyes, which also appear in strange locations over this being's hideous body. It keeps on screaming its mantra as it aims to take your eyes with its elongated and tapered fingers. Freshly claimed eyes often form the tips of its fingers. The older the eyes in its flesh, the more the cataracts claim them as they gradually rot away. The thief has a tendency to find its morphic body rejects the implants, but is unaware that they are simply dying due to the Thief of Eyes spending so much time in its favorite haunts where negative energy, which it is immune to, but corrupts the living tissues of the stolen ocular trophies. Well, I hope in some small way this video helped you decide whether or not this is one you want to back on Kickstarter. As always, if you have any questions or comments, please post those in the comment section below and I'll do my best to answer them. Or feel free to swing by the Kickstarter main page and drop any questions you have there as well. I'm sure the creator would love to hear from you and is more than happy to answer any questions you have. Until next time, I'll see you later.